Seriously.
Yeah, light it up, take a puff, let the good times roll. Kevin and Kerr got a story to unfold. Talking cigars, yeah, we know what's right. From the classics to the bold, it's Monday night. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. Legends and makers, they stop on by, sharing the secrets, the craft, the why. From the rollers to the blenders, they tell their tales. Pair it up with spirits, let the smoothness sail. Wrapper, binder, alright. Flavor notes hit just right. Retro hail, take it slow. Only I tap that cigar show. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. So cut it, toast it, take that draw. Kick back, relax, break out the humidor. If you love cigars, well now you know. It's the I Tap That Cigar Show. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. So cut it, toast it, take that draw. Kick back, relax, break out the humidor. If you love cigars, well now you know. It's the I Tap That Cigar Show.
Oh my God.
What?
I know that. I'm sorry. Let's all vote on how annoying and long that intro was. I didn't even know he had changed it. That was, and it never ended. It
Welcome
just
back,
kept going.
Jessica.
Yeah, welcome
Holy
back
shit,
to the
Kerr, why didn't you tell him that?
Well, we need to give time for people to get on the show. We need for our guests to share the link.
Oh, I think I'm gonna have to start
The end
bossing
got
him
me.
around again.
Start bossing around again.
The first time I heard it was the end. I was like, okay, it's over. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe
That
not.
was so long.
It's a long
I
one.
kept looking at him and I was like, "What?"
She just kept
this?
getting madder and
That's what she
madder and madder. So
Ridiculous.
all right, welcome to the I Tap That Cigar Show. I'm your host, Kevin from Cigar Prop. You've all met Jessica, my producer, Kerr Viajante, Stogie Road Studio. And Kerr, I forgot. I don't have the our names turned on.
Nobody
How do
cares.
we, oh, there we go. Now we can turn them on there.
There we go.
So welcome everybody. The fantastic show tonight. Our guest Steve Saka of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. We're going over the GFY Sampler. All the details that everybody has been bugging Steve hardcore for the last few months. So it's going to be a great show. Let's get right into the CigarMedics humidimeter cut and light. We don't want to drag this on any more or any longer. Kerr, Jessica, what are y'all smoking tonight?
Well, I'm doing the number 8, the L8.
So, Kerr, you're supposed to
Of
say
the-
the CigarMedics thing.
Oh,
I forgot.
sorry.
I did not even have a moment because
I know.
I
know.
You know,
I'm so excited. I got to take a deep breath.
It's the long intro screwed everything up.
I know.
Kevin
And then
decided. So
Jessica yelling at me right from the beginning.
I told you it was a bad idea to have me on.
Yeah.
If when you see me like this tonight, that means that you all are just freaking off the rails, okay? But so yeah, let's get right into the CigarMedics humidimeter cut and light. Remember, with CigarMedics humidimeter, you'll always know when to hold them and you'll know when to smoke them. Jessica, you said you were smoking L8?
Yes, L8.
8. You'll hold that up. Let's see what. There we are. L8.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, what are you going with tonight?
I am. If everybody followed me, I did the blind review of all this. I am smoking the cigar that I enjoyed the least, and the one I really am most excited to find out all about, because I not only I liked it the least, I really disliked this cigar, and that is the L5.
Nice.
And it's driving me nuts because I want to know why I don't like it.
I don't know. Well, I'm sure Steve will tell you why you don't like it.
Yeah, we'll find out about it.
He didn't smoke these in order because I picked the cigars every.
I heard it was a double blind.
It was a double blind. Yeah. So in about an hour we're gonna find out what this cigar is. Yeah. So
Jennifer tonight is smoking the Candela. And then I'm smoking, I don't even need to give the number. It's the only green one in the box. And I'm smoking the Now Leave Me the Hell Alone.
The OG.
Which is what Jennifer tells me all the time. Now leave me the hell alone, Kerr. So that's what I'm going to be smoking this evening. And I got my notes too from all the different, from all the numbers and all the blends that I smoked as well. And I don't have anything negative about the one that you brought up, Kev, or any discrepancies.
Yeah. So,
and are you still not enjoying it though? Because I just wonder if it was also maybe like what you ate or
burn, construction, smoke output, ash, flawless. There is just a weird, almost like a medicinal. I under fermented Habano to me is the same as kind of like a medicinal flavor. So I kind of put those in the two. So that's just it's just got an off-putting flavor. So.
Yeah. All right. Before it was lighting it for you when you were
That's it. So all right, before we bring on our guests, let's hear a word from one of our companies, FogBox, that proudly supports the I Tap That Cigar Show.
Let's be real. Most travel cigar cases look the same: black, boring, forgettable. But FogBox, they're doing it different. Every FogBox travel case and lighter features custom hydro dip graphics, from bold patterns to badass designs that pop. These aren't just tools, they're statements. Whether you're at a lounge, a campsite, or on the beach, FogBox gear stands out while keeping your cigars protected and fresh. Plus, the quality is rock solid. Airtight, rugged, and built to handle wherever you take it. If you're still carrying around the same black, plain cigar case everyone else has, it's time for an upgrade. Visit fogbox.com and grab something as unique as your cigar taste. That's fogbox.com. Built to travel, designed to stand out.
All right. So waiting patiently in the green room is none other than Steve Saka of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Happy birthday, Steve.
Oh,
your birthday's in a few days. Oh, you're on mute.
Yep,
oh, there you go.
Now you're good.
Yeah, I am. Okay. God, so this is going great already from my end.
Yeah, that's it. So how old are you going to be, Steve?
60.
60.
Yeah.
God, are you guys going to do anything to celebrate the milestone birthday?
I actually canceled the celebration. It was supposed to be today, and I said I didn't want it.
Oh.
Okay. What is with you women? Why do you care so much?
Because we do. Because we do.
Steve, Kevin has a birthday month, so
like
it's not all
if I don't care, why should anybody else care?
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point.
And look,
I don't like my birthday either.
And you guys can understand, if you get to 60, I mean, I'm like on the back 4 if I'm lucky. Okay. So it's like every year is just one more step towards the inevitable. So no.
Yeah, see, I don't like celebrating my birthday either. Kevin, like Kerr said, he tries to do the whole month.
He does.
Yeah, it's it. I just want the presents. I don't care about anything else. But yeah, it's
Kevin still wants to have that Sweet 16 birthday party he never had.
That's it. Every year. So Jessica always does me good. Jessica always makes me my favorite meal, and so it's all.
I took you to go see the rocket blast off at Kennedy
she
Space.
did go see a SpaceX, and so
pretty good.
Jennifer the same way. Jennifer's taking me out to Yellowstone for my birthday this year for 55.
Oh wow,
and
that's amazing too.
Like you, Steve, I'm always like, listen, I'm at the age now where every year it's like I'm getting closer to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, man, I'm trying to get rid of stuff, not accumulate more stuff.
That's true.
There's too much.
But now it's like more taking trips. Like when he turns 50, we're going to Ireland.
Yeah.
We're planning a whole trip to like go and do like almost a month.
So we're gonna try. So speaking of trips, Steve, can I assume you're back home from your whirlwind journey over the last? This has been one hell of a summer for you. You've done some traveling.
Yeah, and I got quite a bit still in front of me. So it's been a rough one.
Yeah. The Meet the Makers event. That's what I want to talk about. Like what was that? That looked super cool.
So that is hosted by kind of a combination of the largest retailer in Edinburgh, Scotland, and the distributor who supplies him cigars from a variety of makers. So whatever brands that distributor does, ourselves, Perdomo, La Flor Americana, and so on, they basically did an event called Meet the Makers where they brought in the principals, or they tried to get the principals to come in, and it was a pretty hell of a shindig of a day. I mean, it was an early day. It starts like at 9 a.m. and it goes to midnight before you leave the property, and then there was an after party, but I couldn't. It's already. Yeah.
So when it's a Meet the Maker, so is it like a great smoke or a big smoke, or like what's like?
No, not at all. No. These cigars are, look, first off, you're in the UK. You're in they call it a castle. I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's the Rogers family castle, so it's more like it's between a mansion estate and a castle. You know what I mean? It's like an estate property. And I mean, I guess you could call it castle. It did have a turret, but anyways, the turret looked like it was more there for pictures, and it looked like it was there to prevent the Vikings from storming the ramparts. But anyways, the venue is just spectacular. They served you 2 meals. They had panels with all the various makers that were there, plus the distilleries, because there were about 7 distilleries that were sponsoring. They had live entertainment. They did a mini Highland game during the day. And then pretty much it was open bar on whatever scotch you wanted to consume from about 6 p.m. until midnight.
Oof.
And
that sounds good.
It was a swanky affair. It was really, really nice.
So right on. So was this invite only? Was it like anybody worldwide that could buy a ticket and they can go?
No, anybody could go. You just had to spend 500 pounds sterling was the ticket. So what does that work out to be? Like probably like $650 maybe a little more actually.
Not too bad for an all-day event, you know.
Well, you also got to remember that, you know, for them, every cigar they got that day was worth anywhere from $30 to probably $80.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that as
right, because the prices of cigars in the UK, with the way the taxes are, you're pretty much on the low end. You're at $30. Most are well over 40, hit the 50 mark in the UK. So if you're there and you get 10 cigars during the day, there's 500 pounds. That's like $500, not counting all the other stuff.
Wow. Now, do you sell your entire? Because I mean, you're not known for having inexpensive cigars, so it makes your cigars just a little bit more pricey. Do you offer your full selection, or do you really have
no, you can't. You can't. It's a much more trimmed down portfolio. They have access to maybe 20, 24 SKUs total between the various lines, and there's a lot of things that like we don't offer Stillwell. We don't offer red meat lovers. We don't offer Umbagog. We don't offer, just a lot of sizes in all the brands, And even in the brands we do, Sober Mesa, Burley, Mi Querida, yada, 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 it's still a limited selection of just 2 to 4 SKUs at most.
Now on the Stillwell, is it because of the pipe tobacco that's added, or is it?
It just gets way too complex for internet.
Okay.
The pipe tobacco cigar, it's just not even. It's a Rubicon that I don't even look at. There's no point in it. It's like, so what? I can sell $12 worth of Stillwell in Brazil a year. What are you going to get out of it? I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And then Chris Duque, the overseas #1, So we have that fantastic cigar. He brought it up. What is I mean, obviously you can only get it from Abe. Smoking. Well, not only, but there's
that's not true. Yeah. He just bought them from the international distributor.
Yeah, right.
At any retailer in the country, if they want to call the international distributor and go through the expense and the hassle.
Yeah.
So how did you go into making the decision on what to blend for the overseas market on that cigar?
Well, I wanted it to be like all the other exclusives. I wanted it to be unique and different than the others, so that you wouldn't go, oh, this is just an X that's now a Y. So I wanted it to be different, and I also wanted it to be kind of. For the first overseas, I wanted it to be a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Not offensive. Look, for a lot of these international consumers, they don't have the benefit of trying 4 or 5 or 8 or 10 of my various limited Liga Privadas. And look, if you go through them, they're all over the map. So if you only smoked one and it didn't float your boat, it might turn you off. Or in the United States, you have another one to look forward to. You can trade for one. You can do whatever. But most people that are into the brand get the opportunity to try multiples. And they realize that, look, none have been clunkers, but everybody has their favorite exclusive ligas and they have their least favorite exclusive ligas, right? So I wanted overseas to be something that a Dunbarton smoker that liked the brand would probably find universally appealing. And so it's a little bit of a safe blend in a way. Doesn't make it, I don't mean to diminish it. I mean, it's complex, it's nuanced, it's, it's a lot of great things about the blend, but I didn't want to put something that was like super mild or super heavy or super peppery or super anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And luckily, I think as far as I know, numbers are unlimited. So therefore, there can be a 2 and a 3 and a 5 and a 20 and 140,000 million, whatever, right? So, and that way too, it'll give me a place where now you can have some progression off from that one. So now they'll get something that'll be entirely different, that in no way is anything like the first one, to try to, because again, they don't have that in their heads the way the U.S. consumers do. Because they don't have any exposure to it. The only people that have any clue are the people that are like really hardcore following social media and, all the blog stuff. But if you're not that person, and I would even argue if you're not even a DTT person, you probably don't know that. I don't know. Yeah.
How's the cigar nerd culture over there versus over here? Like over here, like, you're in a Saka squatch group. Everybody's a nerd. Everybody just knows everything. How is it over there?
It's much smaller. I mean, they're not any less passionate, but for them, you got to remember, so much of their exposure is reading from afar.
Yeah.
They just don't have the access. And, so it makes it hard. Look, just the same way as, when I was a heavy Cuban consumer back in the 90s. It was the same situation. Made it hard for me. The shoes on the other foot now.
Oh yeah.
These hardcore guys they're not searching Habanos out. They're searching for the the unique limited stuff we have here in the United States. That's what they want.
Makes sense.
Do you how's the Cuban since the price increases? I mean, do you stay on when you're over there? Did you notice like less people smoking Cubans, more?
No, there's definitely less people because they're not there to smoke.
Yeah.
So it's not even like it's an option. The cigars, it's not even a question of paying the price. They're just simply not shipping them. So you're basically you're taking the vast majority, 85% of. First off, they were running at about 70 to 75 million units, up to 80. Yeah, about 70, 75, 78 for like 5-6 years. And then all of a sudden it crashed down to 42. And then it was 40, and then it was 38 million units. And that's what they've had now. And that's like their new norm is half of something that was already limited before is now cut in half again. And so the price increases had absolutely nothing to do with the cost. It has entirely to do with the fact that, oh, we sell X hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and we don't want to stop selling X hundreds of millions of dollars a year.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to simply raise the price because we don't have enough supply, and there are enough people in the world that will buy these and will consume them. And boom, so that was the plan. They massively jacked up the price. They routed the distribution primarily to the Asian Pacific Rim because that's where the better customers currently are for Habanos. And then they just keep cruising. The problem is every retailer in every other country that Habanos was the premier cigar in their store for the most part, right? Treated that way. It was their Opus X, right? Was it. They don't have it to sell anymore. So what do? You talk about how shitty they are and how expensive they are. And, hey, have you had this Dunbarton Trust before? It's a pretty good cigar. You ought to try it. I think you'll like it better. And so you now have this happening on every store level with every consumer that comes through the door. And so it is now not just the geeks that are like exposed to our brands, but now you're starting to see mainline EU customers that are now getting exposed to all of these new world brands, because you have to understand for them, prior to, most premiums that were non-Cuban did not get much distribution because they didn't want them because they already had their high-end premium price cigar. So the cigars that they would import would be the shittiest, cheapest bundle cigars because that's what you could get, right? Which you could never get from Cuba. So then when you went into a cigar store 15 years ago, your comparison was a Habanos Partagas Series D number 4 versus a Drew Escape Factory Smokes. And no offense to my friends at Factory Smokes, but let's get real here, right? So it's not a very fair apple to apple comparison, right?
Yeah.
That was the exposure that most consumers were getting. So they always got our lowest grade cigars, and that just helps perpetuate into the concept of that Cuban cigars are the best. Because all these people like, well, I had non-Cuban cigars. I've had tons of New World cigars, and they all suck. Yeah, they suck because you're buying the worst of our product because you need the retailers need something at a lower price point. So now what's happening is you're now seeing our shit is still there, always will be, just like it is here, right?
Yeah.
But they're now getting top tier cigars and now getting a 1-to-1 comparison. And guess what? We do kind of favorably in that battle. You know what I mean? It's really a question of what do you like in a cigar as to whether it's better or not better.
Yeah, but how many people were actually smoking like true Cubans? That's also a question too.
Well, over there, I think
over there, yeah. But like here, you hear a lot of people like
the U.S. is
Cubanness, and you're kind of like,
you know what? I would dare someone to find me 10 retailers in California that don't sell fake counterfeit Cuban cigars.
Yeah.
Every time it's like always underneath the counter. Like literally, it's like the status quo. I mean, it's what they do. It's what they've been doing for the last 4 decades. Maybe it's trimmed back. I can't, but I can tell you.
Yeah.
Every time I was there, they always had Cuban cigars.
But I didn't realize their production was down that low.
Yeah.
That's insane. You know, man. And I don't know. Crazy. So you're back. you did the you've done a couple events lately. Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival. How did that? And why isn't everybody else following your lead and then doing these pre-orders? You seem to do really good on that. You did that last year, this year. Like I didn't see anybody else. Like, hey, let us know what you want. We'll bring it out there. How does that not happen?
Because it's work.
Yeah,
it requires effort. Yeah, it's as simple as that. It requires work and effort. I mean, people don't do work and effort.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank God, bless them. It makes my life easier. But yeah, it's the only logical reason why you wouldn't do it.
So how was the event? I haven't been yet.
Look, it was really, really hot this year. So honestly, I was like Jabba the Hutt. I barely moved out of the chair. It was so bloody hot.
Really, in Colorado this time of
year? I normally don't give a fuck. I really, truly didn't. It was written all over me. I could tell people just like, oh, I don't want to talk to him. But no, it was good. Look, we did well. We always do well, but I don't know, man. I need these things to go to every 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you sell out faster than last year?
No, we actually didn't sell out. We ended up with 4 boxes left. Yeah.
4 boxes. God, that's smoke those on the ride home.
Yeah.
So
before, but it was the first time. It's so hard to know what to bring. You bring more, and then you kind of like you regret it. You don't bring more, then you regret it. It's a guess. So we brought like 20 more boxes than last year, and so we sold 16 more boxes. But in the end, no, we did not sell out.
So
streak is over. Streak is over.
Yeah, Max asked, what was your number one seller this year?
Well, here's a problem. It doesn't matter because you have 10 of this and 10 of this and 10 of that and 10 of those. So we went with the 4 boxes I shipped back for 4 boxes of Papa Sakas, which would have been the thing I would have thought would have gone the fastest.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And we sold twice as much Papa Saka as anything, but we didn't sell because I brought way more Papa Saka. But yeah, so there's no. Yeah, so really, what's your best sellers is dictated by what you choose to bring because you can only have. I mean, you got an 8-foot table, you can only do so much with it.
Yeah.
So what is the? I know the everybody back in the day it was always Rocky Mountain or Cigar Fest. Now that Cigar Fest isn't a thing anymore. What was for people that may not get out west? What's the biggest difference between cigar? Because I'm assuming you used to do Cigar Fest. As well.
Yeah, look, Cigar Fest to me was literally 2 days of just sheer misery. I mean, you're cooped up in that building in the Poconos. The only thing that's reasonably edible within 100 miles is some schnitzel, right? I mean, that building is too small. It literally feels like some sort of naval training exercise for fire suppression. By the time they're in the building for 2 hours. I mean, it's literally just nothing but sheer misery as far as I'm concerned. And then guess what? You get to do it over again the next day because one day is enough because we're going to have another 3,000 people. So
they're testing you.
Yeah. So for me, there's absolutely no comparison. I never, as an exhibitor at Cigar Fest, and as an attendee at Cigar Fest, I just never liked it. It was just too crowded. Where with Rocky Mountain, look, it was a bloody hot day, but you are at the foothills of the Rockies. You're outside. You're on a beautiful kind of golf-looking property. I don't know if there was a golf course. I doubt it because there's not enough space. But you know what I mean? It's a much different venue, much more relaxed, much more casual.
I don't know. Yours is buffering. So you guys can see us okay. I know Jessica's computer is starting to buffer a little bit. So okay, so yours will come back on in a second, Jess.
That's weird.
As long as you can see the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I just thought maybe something was going wrong.
So so is that your most successful event of the year? As in all I know there's tons of.
What do you mean? What's
as in sales?
Oh no, great smoke.
Great smoke.
How can it not be? You do the RML dinner. You do the exclusive on the front end, and then you do that whole day of sales. Oh my God. Yeah, the Great Smoke is commercially for us, like significantly bigger.
Yeah, that's a surprising to hear since
Why are you surprised by that? It's not like you're.
I seen pictures of Rocky Mountain, and it looks like it. Is it just like the pictures? It looks like it's 10 times the size of TGS.
Yeah, but TGS does something that the Rocky Mountain isn't doing, or other.
Yeah, there's way more vendors at TGS. That part is true.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of other vendors that are doing jewelry and liquor and food, and so it's a little bit more of a fair kind of environment. So, I mean, but you'd have to ask other people. I'm sure there's people that just crush it at Rocky Mountain, and TGS just doesn't work for them, right? Because I mean, like Drew does this huge, massive thing at Rocky Mountain. They've been doing it for years. So I don't know.
I'm not worried.
It doesn't really matter, does it?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun,
I'm not having fun. It's just like your job. Come on.
Yeah, you asked about success, Kevin. Fun is completely separate.
Yeah.
I think that's been established. He's not enjoying himself. Yeah, he was hot at Rocky Mountain. Poconos was bullshit.
Poconos was honestly, I don't even remember the last 2 hours. I was so sloshed.
Yeah.
It was so bloody hot. Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So we talked about it was a couple weeks ago, I think, on the on one of our
It's gonna be a really long podcast, isn't it? I can tell. I feel it.
Yes. No, we're gonna try and keep to that. We're gonna try and keep to that about that 2 hour mark.
Well, that's fine. So get to
my question was we were talking about that, about the altitude and your cigar smoke, your cigar smoking experience. And I said I thought I remembered you saying that like it can take a couple of days for your palate to acclimate to the altitude out there.
I know mine does. It takes a couple 3 days. Okay. Everything tastes wrong when I first land. I think it's just the thinner oxygen. I think it ends up lowering the combustion rate on the cigar, which then changes the flavor. Just everything seems a little weird to me.
Yeah, I agree. When I went out to Colorado,
I feel the same way when I first get into Phoenix or into any like super dry climate like Vegas.
Yeah.
So uber dry and elevation, they mess with me.
All right. So like the when you're going down to like Nicaragua, that doesn't, with the extreme humidity. Because I know you're from, like New Hampshire. So when you go in, to a jungle, essentially, that's but
that's where you work, so you're used to it.
Okay.
And it's not the same as I go to Denver once a year for 2 days, 3 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just spend so much time. Look, you could argue the weather is nicer in Nicaragua than it was in Miami when we talk about heat and swamp, right? That's way more humid than Esteli ever is. So, yeah, I mean, being at elevation Esteli helps it a lot.
So, all right, we're 33 minutes in. Let's get to why people are here. The GFY, but before we get into that, that's it. But wait, there's more. I know Kerr had some questions about the actual Lancero cigar making process. Kerr is a lot more of a fan of Lanceros than I am. So
so I think Kevin has now painted the bullseye on my chest, since I'm probably the only one in this group here who does like Lancero.
True.
But Kevin and I were actually chatting before this is with other Vitolas, other blends that you've made. What is more challenging when it comes to blending for Lancero for you?
Because there is no blending. You just stick an A with B and B with C and C with D and A with D, and eventually you get one that doesn't taste like ash. You're like, okay, there you go. That's a Lancero.
Wow, that sounded a lot like Willy Wonka's
there's no room for anything much more than 1.5 fillers at most. You have, you got no space to do any sort of positioning. You got zero backfill whatsoever. So you can't do anything to the blend that way. So there's nothing about blending a Lancero, in my opinion, that's anything more than just fucking guesswork. Mm-hmm. And look, that certain things taste good together. So you kind of start with putting the peanut butter and jelly together before you put the lemons with whatever. I don't know. Can't think of anything lemon isn't good on. That was a bad example. Anyway, so blending Lancero is really, I don't know. I've never been impressed by them, and I'm not impressed doing them. And it is what it is. I'm not saying you can't get a good Lancero and have an enjoyable smoke. I'm just saying that from a blender's perspective, anybody that talks about how complex it is to blend a Lancero is just talking, because there's no complexity in blending a Lancero at all. A monkey literally can do it. Simple as that.
And that scratches off my next 3 questions, Kevin, because I was going to ask Steve if there was anything that he changed his mind during this process, but it seems like making a Lancero is equivalent to a drag strip. You just wait for the green light. You go to the end instead of blending your other more like a Le Mans.
And it's so weird because Lanceros don't sell. And actually, I've been involved in probably the 2 most successful Lancero, maybe 3 most successful Lancero projects in probably the last 20 years. And it's just insane to me when it's something just because you don't like something means you do a shitty job of it, right?
Right.
Well, true.
All right, I don't like to pick up my desk, but when I do, right? I don't. If I could get away with never shaving again, I would be perfectly happy. It's misery, but I do it. So you do a lot of things that you don't necessarily like, and it doesn't mean that you just mail it in and not like. I know the way I talk about the blending, it sounds like I'm mailing it in, but the reality is you don't have a choice. That's how it's done. There's just nothing else you can do. Right. It's a 38 ring gauge cigar, right? The most you're getting is 1 full leaf and a half a strip of another.
Yeah.
There you go. That's your blend, right? So it's a wrapper, binder, 1, maybe 1.5 filler. That's it.
Yeah.
But at least your Lancero isn't like super thin. Like there's some Lancero, they're just so thin. It's like smoking a long toothpick. It's very
I think the standard size for a Lancero, I think the legal size is it 7 by 38 or 7 1/4 by 38? I think it's 7 by 38. So that's kind of like that is the traditional format for a Lancero. And then you get a few examples even from the Cubans where they would do a 7 by 40. And look, I did the 7 by 40 on the L40 and on the Now Leave Mail Alone, the original one, I can't even remember. I know on the original on the L40 is just we needed to figure out a way to get another leaf in there, and we just needed to make it so we could have a full leaf and a half a strip and a quarter strip of something else.
I do enjoy that L40 because it is. I think it's got a little more tobacco in it. For me, it just seems it was a good cigar. I like the L40.
We definitely sold a lot of them over the years. So
yeah.
So Steve, with your blending feedback of a Lancero, does it stand to reason that the key component of the Lancero is the wrapper because it's always been told that's where you get most of your flavor from?
Yay and nay. I mean, look, that's another thing. I don't. That whole concept that you get most of the flavor from the wrapper, I just don't buy into it. It depends on the wrapper and it depends on the filler, right? So I don't think that is necessarily a true statement in just the general terms of things. It's the same way as connected shade tobacco is milder, right? We kind of agree it's one of the milder wrappers.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you smoke a 6x60, that blend with the connected shade wrapper, and then you smoke a 4x44 with that same blend scaled down with connected shade wrapper, it's going to end up tasting way stronger in the 4x44, even though you now have more wrapper to filler ratio. So I don't know that really now Does it make a big difference in contact with your oral membranes? Yes, but you get that out of a normal cigar too. If I had to capitulate a little, yes, I think in Lanceros the wrappers have more of an impact than they do in cigars that are 42 ring gauge and above. So I think in the Lance they do.
Now, the one thing that turned me off on smoking Lanceros when I got into cigar smoking was just the inconsistencies, and they never seemed to burn right. You had tough draws, and it was just I just didn't like them. Yours, some I cared for, some less than others, but I never had a construction issue. Is there like a secret sauce that on the Lancero? Because I know that they don't make a lot of them. Whoever's rolling Lanceros, they never roll a ton of them. So I know it's the rollers. Is there a technique? What's the deal with that?
Yes, there is.
Okay, so there is a secret sauce. All right. So
next question.
But seriously, I mean,
Yeah.
very rare you get a Dunbarton Lancero that doesn't smoke pretty damn fucking perfect.
Right.
And that's really unusual for Lanceros because that's really not regularly where they're at.
So they usually roll really tight. Now, like Kevin said, it's a tight draw. And then if you're not used to smoking them and you're a fast smoker, you can definitely have a Lancero run away off on you and start burning all sorts of wonky. But everyone that I've spoken from you has been
or you go to grab the Lancero and you squish it down like somewhere in the middle. It's just like, and it just collapses, and it's just just as annoying as when it's too tight.
Yeah.
fine.
So, all right, let's dive right into it.
Finally, thank God.
Finally, how did you narrow it down? I know these are what did you say you had 67 blends?
Yeah, roughly 66, 68, somewhere in there. 67 sounds good. There were a lot. So the way I ended up choosing the cigars for the collection were I wanted to keep the original, the Now Leave Me Hell Alone, which was the ultimate winner. And then I wanted to add the GFY, the Candela at the back end. And so one cigar was existing, the other cigar hadn't been made yet. And then I just went through my notes from when I was making all of those different Lanceros to pick out maybe ones that were not necessarily the absolute best, but were all reasonable. Because the ones that were the absolute best were very close to the Now Leave Me Alone or very close to one of these other ones. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I wanted it to be kind of the different directions it was going and probably the better of those directions. It'd be kind of the way I would describe the cigars that were selected for the sampling.
Now, do you take were you taking detailed notes? And you do that for all your cigars, all your blends, that even ones, obviously ones that don't come to market, you take like detailed notes. So in the future, you can reference those.
No, that's all here, man.
Oh, God.
I'm going to die, and that's going to be the end of that.
So like all those people, like even like the ladies who have all these recipes and they never write them down and it dies with them and the families. Like
tries to figure out how to make the apple pie, again, and it just died with them. So let's start off. Cigar number one, the OG. Now Leave Me the Hell Alone. What's in that? What's in that cigar? What's the details?
That cigar was basically it's a jalapa based C98, and there's just some Seco and then a half a strip of Ligero. It's got the Sin Compromiso wrapper as binder. And does that cigar have? Oh my gosh. That was the Ecuador Habano sun-grown wrapper. Yeah. So the Ecuador Habano wrapper.
So you took your prize wrapper, and put that as a binder. I did not.
No, I took my prize wrapper that isn't pretty enough to be a wrapper. I said, oh, you're now a binder. Go out and make your dad proud.
Yeah.
Well, I did. That's a
Look, first off, nobody grows binder on purpose. Everybody's trying to grow wrapper, and binder is what you get when you don't get wrapper. And even when you get wrapper, there's always binder in it. And even when you buy stuff that you think is all binder, you still sort it because guess what? Hey, maybe you pick up 5% wrapper out of there and help to boost your value in it. So yeah. But yeah, so it wasn't so much my prize, but yeah.
And that's the one that you didn't prefer?
No. It was in the middle of the pack. I gave it an overall score of an 8.25.
Oh, it was the number 5
on that one. Yeah, the number 5 was the one. And half wheel 89 on the OG. Now leave me the hell alone. Luckily, Patrick rated that. I don't know which one. Who likes? Do you prefer Patrick or Charlie to smoke your cigars? Rate them. I hear a lot of manufacturers
Actually, I ultimately don't care, but they come at things very differently. Patrick's taste profile is much more in line with mine, so therefore, if Patrick reviews the cigars, it's far more likely to get a better score. Charlie, up until unless things have changed, he's always been more into those more delicate, Epicurean, milder style of blends. So a lot of my stuff would be out of his normal enjoyment window. Doesn't mean he doesn't review it fairly, but it's much more difficult to enjoy a cigar and in the same way as if it's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I would say Charlie's still that way. From I consistently read half wheel, so I think you're right on that. Charlie still leans towards that.
We all lean towards everything, right? So it's like I don't look at it as a problem. I just look at it as a hey. And I think that anyone that reads any of these reviewers for any duration eventually kind of decodes them and figures out what they like, what they don't like, and what words they use. Right. And okay.
But I'm sure that Charlie is so burnt out from smoking cigars. Like that's just, I mean, I think he's even said that. There's times where it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that there's Patrick.
Also. Yeah, Charlie said it on our show. He does not smoke for enjoyment. His exact words: he does not smoke for enjoyment anymore.
Look, Brooks also does reviews on that. So So, and again, Brooks tends to lean more towards my side of the aisle. So Brooks is typically a better fit. But again, oddly enough, I might be like the only guy on the planet that's never had a problem with a review. Like, look, I know so many people get so twisted over just anybody saying anything even slightly negative or boom, and it's like, I don't get it. It's just like, it is what it is. It's an opinion like any other opinion, and ultimately the consumer is going to decide for themselves is what's going to happen. So I don't know. It never. Look, you like to get good reviews. You like to get good numbers. You love being at the top of the consensus. But when it doesn't happen, does it mean that what I'm doing is of any lesser grade or quality? No, maybe it does. We'll see. But as a general rule, no. So the question is the product in itself pervasive enough to make someone want to consume it and support it without having somebody give them the nod that it's okay for them to enjoy that?
Right.
Yeah. I'd imagine your sales numbers are the ones that are really the numbers that really count the most,
Yeah.
And we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Doing okay.
Yeah.
How's the I know you're still JDN, obviously. Are you expanding? How's the cigars? What are you producing a year now?
I think this year we're on track to do like 2.2, 2.3. Thought we we're gonna do 2.4, but I don't think so.
So I'm assuming by now you have a dedicated team, dedicated part of the factory, dedicated cool room. You have all of that. Mm-hmm. So, and any thoughts? I know some people, I've seen the comments, oh, it's about time Steve opens up his own factory. Do you ever?
No, I don't live in Nicaragua. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It's definitely not happening.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it for sure.
Yeah, but what would be the reasoning that he should open up his
The
own?
reasoning is because it makes you seem more authentic to the consumer and therefore
Oh.
gives you a stronger brand identity. But what everybody seems to be failing to miss is that it's my 60th birthday.
Yeah.
How long do you really think I'm going to do this shit?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
your birthday gift is a factory, Steve.
I mean, you guys do this shit until you're 100. You know that all of you all die at the field or behind your desk when you're 100 years old.
There's very little benefit to owning the factory. If you if you have your own people working in the factories, then it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So like we've got over at Noxa, you got Bori. Bori's there. He works for us. He's the floor supervisor. He's the one that maintains the blends and checks the pairs and runs the team and all of that. And he's on the Dunbarton payroll. So no, I just, from a romantic perspective, sure. But then again, I don't know, you guys, I don't know if you've seen pictures yet, but Fuente's built a fucking palace down there.
Yeah.
I saw that.
I mean, it's not even finished yet, and it's drop dead gorgeous, right? So there's no way I can swing my dick in that war, right? I mean, like, what are we talking about here?
I mean, the ROI on that factory, when I saw pictures of it, it's just like, I mean, he produces some cigars, so maybe it's faster, but
he's built like an infrastructure there. I mean, there's so much stuff that he does there.
Right. They started doing it in the 90s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's just
Now that's
I think, again, my old adage, never say never, but it's unlikely that we would actually open a physical factory.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Is Steve going to bring us pipe smokers a pipe blend to enjoy? And please.
This has been a long, ignored project. Cornell and Deal, they asked me, and I always say yes, but I never have time to do it. And so, I mean,
so it's a maybe.
Yeah.
It's probably more like an eventual, but
okay.
But even if I do it, we're not selling it. I mean, I don't want to sell it. Maybe I'll get stuck selling it.
Yeah. You see, there you go. Now you're talking yourself into selling it.
No, I'm just thinking about it, because the reality is, look, I'm in the pipe tobacco business, right? And if I do a pipe tobacco thing with my friends at Cornell and Deal, it's basically just going to be my asshole opinion in a can, and them basically paying me a vig, right? Because look, they're going to do everything, and I'm going to do literally absolutely nothing. And so I don't know. It's like, I'd like to, because there's some pipe tobaccos from past years that I still miss because the company's going out of business. So there's a few things, But the problem is it's an incredibly time intensive project, even if it's just me goofing off. And I mean, that the payday doesn't exist. I mean, in your wildest dreams, you just lose a little less money, but there's no way you're not losing the time, the effort, the all of that. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to wrap my brain around adding something that I'm going to make a nickel a can on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
You should just do like a special release that's one time, one and done.
Yeah.
And then it will go on eBay for
that's it.
$3,000.
And every cigar lounge that has never sold pipe tobacco, like Smoke In and Ronnie, and that they'll all be carrying Dunbarton pipe tobacco now because people will demand it. The nerds will demand having it.
A good Christmas.
I don't think so, but thank you.
That's funny.
All right, cigar number 2. My score on this one was a 9.56. I really enjoyed this one.
You like that one?
I did. I guessed Habano wrapper, but I wasn't sure.
It was a Habano wrapper, and actually, That cigar is very, very close to a cigar that's currently in production. So it's very close to the Hoya de Nicaragua Antaño Lancero. In fact, maybe even indistinguishable to most people, to be honest with you. It's very close blend.
I haven't smoked that one, but I love the Antaño. I love the Antaño series. You know, that black is my favorite. That is a great cigar.
And that cigar was actually at the top of my list as one of my favorites of the box, the L2. Yeah.
So how did you how did you decide on the leave me the hell alone? Did you create boxes of these after you settled on an X amount? How did you
well, in the beginning you're just like making 5 of each, right? And you just throw them really, really quick. And then if there's something that catches your eye, you go ahead, okay, make me another 5 of those. And eventually you get to the point where you're like, okay, these are my like 3 finalists. I've gone through however many I needed, 5, 10 at a time. And it normally takes about 25, 30 cigars. That's about what it takes. And then I'll get them to make a full wheel. So that's 50 cigars of each of the ones that I think are in like the absolute final. And then I'll just figure it out from there. Not always that way. Sometimes it's linear. Sometimes just keep working in a linear fashion. But there was nothing linear about this. This was a whole Chinese menu exercise.
So what was your the time frame of when, hey, we're gonna do a Lancero to shut people up to when it landed on the retailer shelves?
You mean from when I had the concept,
or when you finally pulled the trigger and you're like, we're going to do it.
I literally pulled the trigger like 6 weeks before the PCA.
Really?
Yeah, and the whole thing was just done as a goof. I just wanted to have look. It was a year we weren't releasing anything new at all.
Right.
There was just nothing. We had what? I don't even know. We had bronzeback, an Umbagog. Right? We had I don't even know what else we had. We had barely anything that year. Oh yeah, we added the aromatic number 22 to the Stillwell line. That was.
I was going to say it was a Stillwell one.
The big, so there you go. Strike the band. And so I was looking to do something that I thought would get the media to actually talk about the company. And what more can you come up with in something as stupid as this? 10 different Lanceros in a box and making one of them Candela. I mean, good God. I mean, that's just an abortion that has to be talked about.
That's not very romantic at all. I wanted to hear this year-long process of testers and.
Dude, it says GFY right on the box. I don't know how much clearer I can. I mean, I can make it. It's just like. I
know.
Literally, when we were at the trade show, I'm trying to even remember. Were we even? Normally go to the trade show, cigars are like long made. These weren't. No. Yeah, these cigars weren't. They weren't. Yeah. These cigars were made after the trade show. Yeah, because I had no idea how many we were going to sell. And the only reason we stopped selling it, because we got up to like 3,200 boxes or something. And
God,
I only have 2 pairs that can do it. And in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. If we take a single order more, we won't be able to deliver on the whatever it was, November promise, right? So we actually had to stop taking orders because we didn't have the production capacity to make more than what we made. It was insanity. Yeah. I don't even know why. Yeah, the whole thing makes no sense.
So let's move on to cigar number 3, another cigar I enjoyed with a 9.5. I had Habano or Cameroon. Going through my notes, I couldn't place that one because it had a weird spiciness that I couldn't place. What is cigar number 2?
Yeah, that one
or number 3.
I know what we're talking about. I'm blanking. That is Nicaraguan sun-grown Cuban seed wrapper.
So I'm assuming the blends were tweaked between all of these completely different blends, or are they all pretty?
No, some are similar.
Yeah.
In fact, number 3 has a very similar components to the original "Now Leave Me the Hell Alone." So it's kind of really honest. It's more like a "Now Leave Me the Hell Alone" with a Cuban seed wrapper. I actually found this one a little rough. I did not enjoy this one. I didn't find it appealing. I just felt like it was rough without giving me any sort of reward, and I felt like Cigar 2 gave me much more balance and more flavor, and it was a little bit more unified of a package. And I think the original "Now Leave Me Alone" is definitely a discernible medium-bodied cigar. But I think that for a Lancero, it has a really good texture and taste to it that's very appealing. I just found L3 to be barbarous. It was just brutish. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me.
Now, I had on that one, the one note that I had, and I never really asked anybody why it does that at the very beginning, and it only did it at the beginning, and then it never did it again. When your ash gets that snake tongue where it splits with that divides. Some cigars, it stays like that throughout the whole cigar, and it's annoying. Some cigars like this one, they did it at the beginning, and it never does it again. What causes that?
The primary reason why that happens is there will be some sort of seam in the binder, typically a vein that's creating a seam. And when you burn through the vein, the binder splits. And when the binder splits, it just all starts to go out like that. So normally when you get those kind of Y splits, most times they won't go the whole cigar. Oftentimes they'll go to about where that next wrap line is on the cigar, about an inch and a half, and I'll clear it. Almost always that's from a binder giving way, and almost it's because of a rib, a stem, a seam. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
those things. They're the medial ribs of the plant. They extend from the central rib out to the edge of the plant. So.
All right, up next, cigar number 4. My cigar was a 9.375. I didn't guess the wrapper on this one. I couldn't guess the wrapper, but I did make a note that it made my Bacardi.
Wait a minute, how can you even guess the wrapper on that one? What did you write down?
I didn't. I couldn't guess. I just didn't. It just I couldn't guess that one.
Cigar 4?
Yeah, cigar 4. I did make a note that it made my Bacardi and Diet
taste like Connecticut shade. I mean, how can you not tell it's Connecticut shade?
I don't know. I said it was. I kept going back and forth with some of these. Is like, is this Connecticut shade? Is it Ecuadorian shade? And I couldn't.
Well, yeah, it's Ecuador. It's Ecuador shade. I mean, it's Ecuador. Connecticut seed grown in Ecuador, so that part's true.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said,
what sort of score did you give this cigar?
I gave that one a 9.375. I really liked that cigar.
Me too. I really liked that one too. Four was a really good cigar. In fact, if you like milder cigars, 4 was the best in the box.
It was definitely.
That's probably why you liked it.
Yeah. I do like, I get, now I always tell people, I like spicier, fuller bodied cigars. Now one of the cigars what was that one, but
that's the one I moved. That's what I moved to now because it's a really good cigar. It's like you said, it's mild.
I can't wait to hear about number 8 because that's the one I just smoked, and I'm excited to hear what that one's about. But we'll stay in order.
We'll move to cigar number 5. That was the one I believe that got my least favorite with a 7.75. That cigar kind of made me angry. It's just such, it made me angry tonight. I lit it up before the show. What is in this cigar that's making me mad?
Before Steve chimes in, I actually liked 5. Jennifer smoked it, and she kind of was in the same vein you're in. I found it had a really good smoky flavor to it. Like,
you ready for this? This is my entire tasting notes: cinnamon, smoky, smooth, medium, relaxing smoke. That's all I wrote down.
Cinnamon was what you were tasting.
Yeah, so Kerr, there you go. You got the smokiness.
It was. I mean, definitely right. It definitely tasted like there was some fire to there. So I was thinking it might be a San Andreas wrapper because it was really.
Which you're correct on. That's exactly the reason why for the smokiness. It was a San Andreas wrapper on that one.
Nice.
Oh, there you go, Kerr. See,
Well, I win, cigar prop.
Lancero King.
Yeah, that was the Mexican Capa, and that's actually on the identical blend to the Now Leave Me Hell Alone that's in the box.
Mm.
So it's only a wrapper change.
So there you go on Kerr. When you're talking about earlier, about the difference that a wrapper can make. So on that one, it's just a wrapper change.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Well, basically, it's a wrapper binder flip. So the one had the Ecuador on top, Habano on top, and it had the Sin Compromiso binder underneath. This one had the Sin Compromiso wrapper on top, and then that Ecuador Habano as the binder. So it's a wrapper binder swap, is what it is.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that cigar. It was really good.
Are you smoking the new Bullet Head?
No, I'm smoking a unicorn because I just smoked that Candela Lancero for no fucking reason whatsoever because I thought we'd be talking about it before I finished the damn thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what? I deserve a unicorn.
Yes,
I deserve
for being put through all of this.
But I'm excited on that Bullet Head because I'm excited to see what they like that. Just the way that funnels that smoke down a little more. I'm wondering how much that changes. I really like that.
Yeah, those are going to be wildly popular. I don't know how much online buzz they'll get because of their size, but I know for our retailers, they're very the ones that are they're very excited for them.
All right, here's a question.
All right, question L4 was money for lovers of smooth, creamy, milder blends. Curious to know how close this blend is a Sobremesa Brulee Blue blend.
Ooh, okay.
Great question.
Oh, it is a good question.
Not in any way whatsoever.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. The bulk of the filler actually all the filler in that one is the Esteli from Perez. So it's a Cuban seed, that hybridized plant that he grows. So yeah, it's not similar at all.
So all of these Lanceros that aren't really similar to any of your other cigars, were there any new tobaccos in any of these that you had never used before, or did you want to really stick with what you're used to?
Remember, I didn't do this work. I did this work before I made the collection. This is me turning my homework in twice.
Yeah,
and getting credit for it.
Yeah,
and getting more credit doing it this way than the original way I did it.
Yeah. Oh my God. So, all right. Up next, cigar number 6. I scored this as a 9.0 with an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. What's the details on number 6?
It was an Ecuador Habano wrapper.
Habano.
It was a all Nicaraguan from there on down. And my notes were meh, not good, not bad, leather and spice. Don't want to smoke it. Those were my
those were the detailed notes. If
my detailed tasting notes, yes.
Oh my God. Cigar number 7, I scored an 8.375 with a true Connecticut shade wrapper.
Now, what I loved about that cigar was the pre-draw. That pre-draw on that 7 had like this kind of real delicate vanilla and caramel kind of thing going on. When you smoked it, I wrote down woodsy and sweet. I wrote nice, mild, medium. I prefer the other Connecticut shade in the box, the 4. But the 7, in fact, I misspoke before. The 7 is milder than the 4. The 4 has got a little bit more zip than the 7. The 7 is the mildest cigar in the box, actually, now that I think about it. It's really good if you're really like mild Connecticut shade cigars, but yeah.
And this one was a true Connecticut shade from Connecticut?
That was a Connecticut, yes.
Oh, Connecticut. Right on. I've gotten ones I did guess. I think I'm pretty good on these.
Yeah, you are. I'm curious about number 8. So.
Yeah. So Jessica's curious about number 8. I scored it an 8.75.
Wow.
And I had tons of peanut butter on this one. Is what my notes were.
Peanut butter.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Not what I got.
Yeah.
It shows you how boring. So first off, that's an all Esteliano base blend in the filler, and that is another Mexican wrapped cigar, L8.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's a great cigar.
well, this is what I wrote. I wrote excellent dash strong and tasty dash one of the best. Those were my notes. So
I agree with that.
I actually think L8 is my favorite one out of the whole box, personally. L8 followed by the L4, followed by the now leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
So how did if that was your favorite? How did you wind up with the now leave me the hell alone?
This dude, I made the other decision 3 years earlier. You know, why do I want pork tonight and steak tomorrow? I mean, it's like, come on. Like, I got to be bound by all my decisions. I mean, the only one that I'm like sticking to is my marriage, right? But all the other shit, it's all up for grabs. I reserve the right to change my opinion, for God's sake.
Okay.
Are you just upset because I liked number 8
Yeah.
and you did?
No, not at all.
He's scratching off peanut butter real quick.
I know he's like, there was
that
no
never happened.
Are you drinking the peanut butter whiskey tonight?
I am.
Oh, you're drinking the
And
screwball?
I still didn't get any peanut butter. Saying.
While eating Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah, it was. I liked the number 8 because I do like a more bold, like stronger cigar.
Yeah.
But I just love. That was a good cigar for me. That was definitely in my wheelhouse.
I said, I think 8 was my favorite out of the box.
All right. Cigar number 9. I had a 9.75 with a Mexican San Andres wrapper.
I wrote dull, decent, no, still dull.
And I
like that one.
I had tons of nicotine with a strong pepper on the back of my throat.
I think we're just not the same. We're not the
We're
same.
not the same.
And that is actually the exact blend of Now Leave Me the Hell Alone, but with an Indonesian wrapper on it.
Indonesian wrapper.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else with an Indonesian wrapper? I'm trying to think of your.
Yeah, and the reason why is I would present as Exhibit A, L9.
Okay.
Dull, decent, no, still dull.
Still dull. So before we get to the Candela, the one thing that I had said, I think in my review, why was there no broadleaf? And a couple people had said, that they had guessed whatever cigar had broadleaf, and I'm like, I didn't taste any broadleaf on any of those. Why no broadleaf? You're a broadleaf guy.
Because the two pairs that I have that are really proficient at rolling Lanceros are over at Hoyda, Nicaragua, and I have no broadleaf into that factory. So I would have had to do something like this totally separate. And the other problem with that is broadleaf is such a gnarly wrapper that it would require a lot of work to make a really good broadleaf Lancero, in my opinion, that didn't end up looking like some rotted twig. So it was a bridge too far for my goof project to get a little bit of internet coverage. So
well, at least I guess that one correct, that there was no broadleaf. So those people that said that there was broadleaf, you were wrong. Dull, yeah.
Great notes.
And the Candela. Now you have made a Candela before. I think you'd posted a picture from PCA back in 2008 or something. You had to bring a
Candela. I can't remember what it was. Remember, it was that whole August of 2016.
Yeah.
You had to have the FDA filing.
Or 2016.
Right. So therefore, if I wanted to import any Candela cigar in the future, I better have a Candela cigar on my import logs that I have a Candela blend already coming into the country. So we made a lot of stupid shit. I can't even remember what that was. It was in the Muestra de Saka. I'd have to look that up.
Yeah, it was an MDS. I think from the post.
It had some catchy green name. It was like Oro Verde or some bullshit. Yeah, like
yeah. I think that's a great name.
Not really. It's like sticking two words together that everybody uses. But look, when you're having to come up with 300 names before a deadline, and you're like 6 weeks to do it, you can't craft everything well. It's kind of just got to throw some shit at that wall because you got to do it.
That's funny.
So obviously we know it's a Candela. Any info on the insides?
This one I didn't do. I stole this one. This is the Hoy de Nicaragua Cabineta blend that they used to use for their Lanceros. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
That's a really good. And I wrote on that one. Very good, very smooth, medium bodied. And I also wrote one of my favorites, which is really just shocking that it was, but it actually was. But I think it had more to do with the blend was just so good that the wrapper was overcome by the beauty of its star. Because the Candela was surprisingly enjoyable, I thought.
Here's an off-topic question. You released a green label Mi Querida maybe 10 years ago. Is it the same blend as the current green label?
Yes, except let's think about this, because that green label has been used in a few different places over the years. So there was something I did. So there's that green label is like on some of the EXs that I've done for Abe.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you see that green label on Not. And then there's a batch of Mi Querida Ancho Largos that were trunk pressed, but they were just a regular Mi Querida blend. So they ended up with the green label, but I think I'm down to like the last 50 of those. They're like 7, 8 years old. And then you have the green label on the Potapero, which is a new variation of Mi Querida. And you will now this year have the green label on the Emerald Fish. So those will be the only two that actually have the green label that are the blend that's now going to be the one that, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Wait a minute. Oh. It has the green Mi Querida label. So he's not talking about that. He's talking about the DTT one. Yeah. You know what, dude? That is actually going to take some research for me to answer that question.
Okay.
Because honestly, because it's a catch-all band that we use for all sorts of little thises and that's here and there. You know what I mean? It's just a DTT logo on a green and gold kind of band. So I think we've used that in so many different places. But yeah, the Mi Querida green blend is only in the Pot Apparel and the Emerald Fish. So that part was true.
Okay.
Wow, that question really derailed me.
Yeah. But finally stumped the Saka. A new segment. So on the Candela, I smoked one. I've smoked a couple of them since I did my blind review, and the review, I didn't care too much for the Candela. I felt like all of the things that I love about a Candela was blended out of. Like what
part of that is that the it tastes like grass clippings part? Is that the part we're talking about today?
Yeah. So
as it should be.
I love Nick at Foundation. He probably makes and Nick knows I love him. Probably one of the worst Candelas because you can't taste any of the grass, and his has a weird, shiny, waxy coating on it.
Here's the problem with the Candela. The problem with the Candela is it has a very short lifespan. Yeah. So it comes out of the barn, right? It's already fermented for all practical purposes, right? because you don't cure it the normal way. You heat cure it. Whole thing's done 5 days. So you load the barn. 5 days later, you're pulling tobacco out that's like ready to go. Stuff is super bright green and super grassy, clippy, sharp, right? Really just a astringent kind of flavor. And what ends up happening from that point forward is that beautiful, shiny, bright green just gets grayer, and grayer. And the flavor gets the same way. It takes that grass clipping down, takes that real astringent kind of thing down, to eventually it gets to where a year later, it doesn't taste like anything. It's just kind of this dull gray green. So what you really have is you have a very small window of about 2 to 3 months to use it super bright. You then have another window of about 4 months to use it where it's still green, that it's recognizable, and there's still flavor there. Okay, boom, boom, boom. But for the Candela guys, even though I like the stuff that's in that 4 month period, the Candela guys want the stuff that's super bright green and super tastes like grass because that's what they want, right? Mm-hmm. But I didn't have any of that shit, okay? Because I don't buy it, because I don't use Candela on cigars. So I had to kind of like be like a little bit of beggar boy and go around with my tin cup to find the best that
Oh my God.
And that's what you got, okay? Because in order to get better requires me to make like a real cash commitment to Candela. Yeah. And guess what? I am never, ever going to do. So.
Thank you. I'm not a Candela fan. Like, I'm probably like between Kerr and Kevin, I know that they're huge Candela. I do not. So how do like Candela?
So how do you know? I mean, I know you don't work with it often, but you might have them. So why are some Candelas super bright green? You can take a couple, like Nick makes a super bright green Candela, but there's zero grassiness, zero, that bitterness that we like.
How do you, Nicholas?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did.
I'm gonna leave that as a Nick answer.
Yeah.
I have an educated guess, but it isn't. I don't know what he likes to talk about, what he doesn't like to talk about. So I'm gonna let him.
He beat it around the bush. He won't tell me. He won't tell me.
So you're trying to get someone else to tell you.
So yeah, I'm trying to get someone else to tell me how it's done.
Oh, Kevin.
So Candela, you talk about how it goes into the barn and it's ready in 5 days. So right. Can any tobacco, any wrapper leaf, be Candela? Can Mexican San Andreas be Candela? Can Habano be Candela? Can anything be Candela?
I mean, yes. There's no reason why it couldn't be. I just have no clue how it tastes.
Okay.
I mean, just logically, you might have a problem with like the broadleaves because they're you know what? More I'm thinking about this. This is a question I never thought about, but I think it would depend on the texture of the material. So, okay. And so therefore, I don't think you could do it with any heavy textured material. I don't know that you could fire it in a way that's going to get the moisture out in a quick enough process because of the texture and the weight of those.
Oh,
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know that really, as I'm sitting here thinking about it, some San Andreas is thin, but not all of it. So that's kind of difficult. Cameroon would be safe. You could definitely do that. But no. You could do Cuban, grown in Cuba, no problem at all. That stuff's plenty thin. So, no. You know what? I'm going to ask someone that question that knows more than me and see what bullshit they give, and I'll report back.
It's one question I didn't know. I sent John Oliva Sr. An email years ago and had a couple questions about Candela because nobody has produced more Candela than his family. And it was great. He's like, let me call you. And he talked to me on the phone for like 2 hours and I'm taking notes the entire time he's talking about,
Dude, he's old and he's rich, man. What else has he got to do? Love you, John.
But just a wealth of knowledge on just tobacco and Candela. You talk to him and he that's what his family made their fortune on was Candela, back in the day.
So we're through them. It's done. Don't you feel like that's just pretty anticlimactic? I think it was just better never saying what was in there. I think now that I said it, it's like, yeah, okay, who cares?
Yeah. Some people will come back and reference this. I'll have to put a timestamp down in the notes where we actually started talking about the blends.
Excuse me.
But let's move on since we got all that out of the way. There are some people that message me. I see them on the groups. PCA, you announced a whole new slew of cigars. I know some started shipping, some haven't started shipping yet. Congrats on the 91 Patrick Half Wheel, bringing him up again on the bronze back Robusto. What a crazy! Did you ever think that cigar? I mean, you obviously do, but that cigar has taken like the cigar world by storm.
Yeah, it
like,
really has.
It's such a great cigar. Is that and that's obviously shipping. What can you tell us about that cigar?
I have a lot to say about it. It's the base Mickey Rita blend using the 2LS broadleaf wrappers. So it's those leaves that they're beneath the mediums. They're kind of on the lower, kind of like about the 30-40% up the stock kind of mark. They typically get used for cheap bundle cigars because they don't ferment very pretty, and they end up being kind of splotchy, and they very rarely end up dark. They often end up with kind of like a ruddy, kind of muddy brown, dark brown kind of thing going on. So what they do is they ferment them to where they can ferment them, and then they put them in the steamer and they steam them. And whatever flavor is in there, which the flavor was good. It's not as earthy, it's not sweet, but it's got that broadleaf, but with like a little bit more spice, a little bit more zest on the broadleaf. But they put it in the caldera. We steam the leaves, and then we take those steamed leaves because they come out absolutely gorgeous, perfect, even dark as dark can be. And you then put them on, $2 cigars. That's what you end up doing with it, because you can't put it on a high-end premium cigar. Back in the 90s, Henry Clay had this thing called Brava Finas, I think it was called. And it was just these really kind of very rough Maduro cigars using this 2LS wrapper. And they didn't call it 2LS because, well, they were trying to sell it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and it's and I just remember it was just a really good, cheap, flavorful smoke. So I just said, hey, instead of taking this wrapper and steaming it, let's just leave some of it naturally fermented, and let's just see what people think. Because the reality is those wrappers that we're steaming don't cost less than the wrappers that end up on the other cigars. They're all coming from the same purchases and the sort and the selection. So any way you can find a piece of material that you can use on something that actually can maybe get you a profit is way better than steaming it to put on a cigar that I'm not even putting it on a cigar because I don't do any of those really cheap bundle products, but selling back to that factory or another factory for them to do that with it. Don't get nearly as much money. So anytime you can put something that's usable on a premium, you're to the good dollar wise. So, and it seems that people like it. So win-win. It's good for me because it helps keep my Mickey Rita prices a little bit more in check, because it gives me another avenue to use another maybe 6 to 8% of the tobacco that I wasn't able to use. And it ends up being and consumers seem to like it too. So they seem to win also. So it's good. It's a good relationship.
That it is.
I win. We all win.
I a question just popped in my head, but over the last couple of weeks, I smoked some cigars. Go look them up. In one, it was a double A grade wrapper, and then one of them was a triple A grade wrapper. Is that marketing, or
yeah.
what's yeah? Oh, it is okay. Because I try Google, ChatGPT, nothing could give me what the difference between a double A, and a triple A grade wrapper.
It's marketing.
Marketing, son of a bitch, they got me. So
yeah, it's almost like how it sounds like they took some kind of cue from meat or something, grade A meat. This is
that's it.
This is grade A tobacco.
And the answer, I see that comment by Dasher J. Yes, famous 80s have the DTT greed, man.
Okay.
He knows better than I do.
They do have that. I think I got a few of those left. It does have that. I didn't think about that. It does have that green band. What about the Mi Querida Gorilla Gordo?
Those should be shipping out to retailers probably in about, I imagine, a couple weeks from now. Maybe a little longer. I don't know. In the next 30 days, they should ship, assuming the import gods treat us favorably, which they very much so lately. But
yeah,
what's the details on that cigar?
Big Mi Querida, 6x60 bullet head, just real strong. It's just the Mi Querida in a Gordo format. If you like,
so that's the bullet head. Okay, I didn't know that was like. I thought the bullet head was the name of the cigar.
No. That is the no. It's the Gorilla Gorda is the name of the cigar, and it says bullet head because it's the style of the head. So people would.
Okay.
Because the thing about it is, I don't find a 60 ring gauge cigar very comfortable to smoke, but by putting this tapered kind of rounded head on it, you can then kind of cut it to where you like it, girth wise in your mouth. God, that's so pornographic.
Yeah. That's why I love.
We have to find a new lexicon for this shit because I don't want to be saying that ever again.
That's why I loved your the Gran Elefante so much because it wasn't a round cigar. It was like that soft trunk press, box press.
Right.
And it just fit a lot more comfortably. But you did do the Mi Querida in a 660 for who did you do that for years ago? I still have a few left because I just never was it
Luma Negra. I think it was Cigars International, maybe.
Cigars International. That's what it was. And that was years ago, and I still have some left because it just I don't find that size appealing.
Let me say this: these are better than those because I never. The reason why we never did well with the 60 is the blend was never really right in it, and so before we decided to do this, because originally I wasn't even going to do the 60 at all. I was going to make it 6x64 because the blend that's in Grand Buffalo and in number 764 perfect. It would have been very easy, but then I started feeling lazy. Like, why am I doing that? You should just go back and fix the 60 ring gauge and yada yada yada. So I Jewish guilted myself, even though I'm not Jewish. Going and redoing the blend on the 60 and getting it where it should have been. So I really like the cigar. It's a good one.
There's two questions. This is the first one. It says, Steve, when you retire, does DT close its doors? Should I start hoarding all your blends now? Thanks for the constant and consistent quality.
You got 20 years, so you're good. But yes, start hoarding now. Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
And then this was the
second.
Steve, as I spend more time sitting outside enjoying Brulee Blue, I'm wondering if you'd consider making a Churchill in this particular blend.
Well, we already make the double Corona, right? So that's a longer one. But of course, you got to go up to a 54 ring gauge on that. So, I actually have a Churchill that we never released because I made a counterpart to Brulee Blue in a Churchill size that was called Big Blue. And in fact, I was going to release it. It was really good. Then I said, why am I doing that? I'm just going to take away from my regular Brulee Blue sales and just now make more work is all I'm going to do here. You know what I mean? So, yeah, because you got to think about that. Now the retailers are going to carry blue, or is he going to carry Big Blue?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now the consumers are going to be consumers that like blue, but now you're going to have consumers that used to like blue. They're going to like Big Blue better. So now it's like it just adds a layer of work. And are you really like, does adding Big Blue mean, oh, now I'm going to get 100% more Brulee Blue smokers?
Yeah.
I don't think it does.
Yeah.
So there's actually been one. Whether we'll release it, I don't know. Maybe, who knows?
Now back to the bullet head. Is that something that's been around for a while? I don't remember seeing, unless I'm just not just not looking. That bullet head. It's just such a unique, in my eyes, just such a unique shape.
Yeah, it's actually a Cuban head shape. It's called a 109. Cuban head 109, I think is, and then a lot of people just call it a bullet head because it kind of looks like round nose 38, round. It's kind of the way it looks, very that kind of way. So there aren't a lot of molds out there that you can make. So you basically got to order special molds just to make this, and it's a big investment to order special molds to just make one size. And they when they order these molds, they expect to make millions and millions and millions and millions of cigars through those molds. Whereas I'm buying molds, and sometimes all we're making is 5,000, 10,000 cigars.
Wow! So when you said like a big investment, like money wise, like what are we talking like?
So where's my phone? So per pair. It would be, you would need 24 molds to keep them flowing. And Figurado molds run about 180. You're looking at about $4,300 in molds.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then if you're only
making 5,000 cigars, that means you almost have 80 cents just because of the mold cost.
Dang.
Yeah. Again, when these companies buy these molds, they plan on making literally millions and millions of units to where the molds are effectively are down to below the pennieth of a use. You know what I mean? So, but that's not the way it works for us.
Yeah, God, you think about that 80 cents a cigar just for the molds. That's a hell, unless you get, if you've got like Hoya, if you buy a mold, have you ever ordered a custom mold and then they're like, hey, can we use those molds? We'd like to make a cigar. Can you get some of your money back?
It's happened to me twice already, but they just use them without asking the bastard.
Oh my God! Like, hey, I'm gonna need a vig on each cigar you sell. A couple of pennies at least. So the DTT 10th Jubilee, a cigar that I absolutely loved, and people know I've smoked it. At least once a month, someone will ask me in a message, how is that 10th Jubilee? And I'm like, it was good, but I agree with what you said at PCA. I think during our interview, it's going to be a very controversial cigar on DTT lovers, because it's not similar.
No, it's not similar at all. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. Look, I wouldn't go out of my way and buy multiple boxes personally, because I think what'll happen is I think some people will get it and they're like, nah, this ain't for me.
So what are the details on that cigar? What makes it so different than anything else? Obviously it's your 10th anniversary, so you had to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of it is, there's no tobacco in it I've ever used on any cigar ever before. So everything in the whole blend is entirely from scratch. It's totally ground up.
Wow,
that's why.
Yeah,
it's not like any.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not like anything out there. What was the as picky as I know you are on, especially on new cigars? What was the time frame for blending that cigar, especially for tobacco you've never used?
I started working on it a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, there's only two ways this was going to go. I was either going to be alive on my 10th or not alive on my 10th. And if I was alive on my 10th and I didn't do it, then I'd just be pissed that I didn't do it. So it just seemed logical to just do the work and be ready. And
10 years flies by. We've got, I was just talking to Kerr last week. I'm like, because next year is the 10th anniversary of Cigar Prop. And I'm like, and then I usually like, oh, God damn it. Steve's been doing this 10 years and he's so much more successful than me. I don't know what it is. So I got to get my ass in.
Yeah, we'll have a 20-year head start on you, my friend.
Yeah. that you do. Yeah. So when is I don't know if you said, or maybe I didn't catch it. When is that one hitting the hitting the States here?
Hopefully November.
Oh, so we still got some time on that one.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for November. Yeah.
So what's the holdup?
It's just getting approvals on exports. Everything's slow right now with the government.
Yeah.
So you have to get. I didn't know that you have to get approval for exporting cigars that you've already.
For everything you do. You have to get approval for importing anything, exporting anything, moving materials from one factory to the other factory. Yeah. No, it all has paperwork. It all has inspections. It all has approvals.
Really? I'm assuming fees with each of those pieces of paperwork, or no? Is it just a money grab?
Look, it's not my place to comment, to be honest with you.
Yeah, as soon as I said that,
but there are fees associated with it. Okay, it's not my job to question what the Nicaraguan government decides or doesn't decide. It's their country, their land, it's their people. You know, what I have to do is as a guest, I have to comply with the rules and regulations, even when maybe I don't always understand them or agree with them. It's really not my place, to be honest with you. And so it is what it is. But yeah, it makes things slow. So it makes it very hard to and we're still having shipping kinks after C19. They're not all worked out of the system. I mean, there's a lot.
Really?
Yeah. It's still things are still not super smooth. So it's very hard to say, are the cigars ready? Yes. Are the boxes done? Amazingly, they're done, which is a miracle because that never happens. Right? You know what I mean? It's like all the products, all the components, all this and that, but still can never guarantee November. Just can't. There's no way you can.
Wow.
Yeah. So is there one kink that is it, I was getting it out of the country, getting it into the country, just shipping it from, I'm assuming you import from Miami and then up to you. Is there one specific kink, or is it just?
He just told you.
No. I mean, I said just kinks in shipping. I didn't know if it was just one particular.
Just everything's running a little behind, and it all just kind of steamrolls. It builds up like traffic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Slow part on a freeway, and you got a gazillion cars. Even a little slowdown just to 25 miles an hour can literally cost 6 miles of just bumper to bumper traffic. So if there's a lot of these documents that have to be approved and stamped and this and that, and they start to run a little behind, it just seems to keep running a little further behind, which then means I can't guarantee when something's actually going to arrive. There's just no way to do it.
Right.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense. Now, when you get, when you get the cigars, you finally get them in your warehouse. Are you inspecting the cigars? Like, because I know, you use your psychrometer. Because I know
what we'll do is we'll randomly pull some sample boxes. Look, cigars were already inspected before they got packed.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really a question: did anything get damaged in shipment? Because everything's inspected when it's going in the box. Because you can't inspect all the boxes when they land, because that would have you cutting open the boxes, and consumers don't want to buy boxes that have been cut open. Right. So we spot check. And look, if there's something that we have a particular interest in, then, we'll go a little deeper in that. But no, for the most part, it isn't necessary to go through these cigars one by one. That's what we do down there.
Okay. The DTT archive release number 2, Todos Las Dias double wide. Everybody's been talking about this cigar, like the return of the Todos Las Dias.
Limited engagement. In fact, we haven't even taken any orders from the retailers for that. I really have to do
that. So I'm assuming they're ready. Same thing, just ready to be shipped.
No, those are being made now.
Okay.
Yeah, those cigars are for January.
Okay.
Oh,
So
next year. And it's Todos Los Dias, so you want a little bit. I want a little bit on the younger side.
Oh, this is a good question, even though I know the answer to this one. Is there a cigar that you have rolled exclusively for your personal use that isn't in production for whatever reason?
So what ends up happening is I'm making all these sample blends, and I'll latch into one. And then I'll end up smoking it maybe for a year, but eventually I end up selling it because I'm greedy. So, so that's kind of just the way it is ultimately working. So at any moment, is there something personal? Yeah, I'm smoking a lot of that word of Saka that's going to be in the deep cut sampler, right? It's kind of captured my attention. This year, the Fiddlehead captured my attention.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised at how good the fucking Fratanga is.
Great fucking cigar.
Fratanga is like genuinely like a great cigar, right? And then you sprinkle in those, the lousy Year of the Duque and the terrible Salida Red, and you know what I mean? And it's like I'm like drowning in good cigars to smoke right now.
That Salida Red, when I first tried that at the beginning of the year, and that cigar, I'm actively trying to find a cigar, and I've said it, many times in type and then in word. I'm actively trying to find a cigar better than that for this year's Cigar of the Year, and I tell you, it is tough.
And we got this exclusive kind of lamb dropping that's really good. We got the Leche Burro still coming out. Ronnie, of course, is going to just berate all of us with Don Derma head to toe. And there's even a battle box of 2 different sizes that are one different size, but half is the Don Derma blend and half is the Golden Child blend. So, it's just when I start to think about how much there's still left through the end of the year, it is kind of crazy. Because we got the holidays too.
Yeah, and I'll get that in a second. But I want to know on that Salida Red. I just had to. I went online to over at Smoke Inn, see if they had any more. And it's a dumb question, but it's just I look at it, I'm like, why is that cigar so expensive? You're none of your cigars are cheap. You have more expensive cigars. You got less expensive cigars. But what is that cigar that it just. In the why is it so expensive, Steve?
It's like the Brulee Blue. It gets better sort, better selection, the best grade of everything, which means you're going through material that you've already sorted that was deemed for production, and you're having to go through it again so you can pull out this, and then you're going to have a unique blend, slightly different but unique, and you're going to age it a full year. So you're going to spend the money. You're going to be spending money 16 months earlier, because by the time that production ends up in the cool room, ends up in being stored for a year, then ends up getting packaged, it's about 16 months to the point that I started spending money to I have any hope of maybe selling that shit to get any of that money back. So yeah, it's more expensive. It's just the way it is.
Absolutely fantastic. I can't smoke enough of them. They are they're just fire right now.
Question is it worth the extra $2 to you?
It really is.
Great. And if it isn't, then it isn't. There's nothing I can do about it. But yeah, I don't know. The reality is just everything has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cigars. It's just literally there's just absolutely nothing that didn't go up. It all went up, and there are a lot of things that went up way worse. But yeah, it's a problem. And now, finally inflation starts to slow, and now we're going to end up having what just happened.
You
I don't know. We still got your voice, but your camera.
I don't know why my camera cut out.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't even know how to change that.
I don't know. Maybe if it cut out, maybe it'll
come
back.
How about this?
There you go.
You have a green screen now.
I have a green screen now.
You got a Candela background.
Yeah.
You got That's it.
I don't know why I lost my little fancy display thing.
I'm gonna screenshot. Kerr, you got to screenshot that and put a Candela, in the background. So you mentioned the essential sampler. What's the for people that might not know what that is? Can you tell us what the sampler is and when that's going to be hitting?
Yeah, again, I'm not exactly sure. It should be hitting next month. I mean, there's basically 2 samplers. There's an essential sampler, which is like basically the Toro from all of our core blends. So it's a good way that if you have no familiarity with Dunbarton, if you just want to kind of compare and contrast the two basic blends or the different blends. And then we have a deep cut sampler, which is just legitimately my 10 favorite cigars that we make, the ones that I smoke the most. And maybe not our most expensive and maybe not our most technically challenging, and maybe they don't contain the ones got the really cool whatever tobacco in it, but they're actually the 10 cigars that I think are our best cigars that I enjoy the most and smoke. And then there's the 11th cigar, which is the New Word of Saka.
Oh, what's the new word of Saka? What's that?
Let's get closer to the time for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice try. Someone did ask though, I know Kevin's always doing the most.
No, sure.
Will Fiddlehead find its way into regular production?
Doubtful. Look, I think look, the intent of what Fiddlehead does is to help support the our legislative efforts in the state to keep New Hampshire a zero cigar tax-free state, and to keep our retailers able to have bars in their establishment and not have crazy numbers of how much alcohol you're going to sell versus how much tobacco you sell.
Mm-hmm.
And that requires funding. And the Fiddlehead is a nice project that fills that funding. I don't know that in the long run, if Fiddlehead would generate more sales if it was available all the time than it being available just once a year. So I think the once a year is probably I think actually in the long term, I think it'll actually earn more money for the purpose that it exists.
Fiddlesticks. We got the Stillwell Star Holiday 2025. What's the what's the blend on this one, or what's the profile?
It's the same as the 23 and the 24, but in a 5x48 format.
Oh, that'll be
that's a good one.
That's a good one. I find in the
it'll be the first Stillwell made in a small size. Or small size.
I like that. I do like the Stillwell, but sometimes like the larger one, I'm like, just
yeah.
I'm just done with it after a while. So I think
in a way, I like the smaller formats myself better too.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah.
It's
a precursor for what's coming, because we're going to do that to the whole Stillwell line.
Oh, okay.
wow!
Cool.
I like it. I think that's.
I'm revamping the Stillwell line next year.
Are you? I know you had talked in the past about maybe bouncing at least one blend. Is that still in the thoughts about condensing that line a little bit, or?
I'm going to bounce at least 2 blends and maybe 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's the line been sales wise doing? I mean, it's I know it's
the aromatics do really well and the non-aromatics suck wind.
Okay, that's what I was going to.
Look, we sell English, we sell Bayou, but
the English and Bayou is so good though.
It doesn't matter if it's good if consumers don't buy it. They don't want it. So
I like the aromatic and the navy. Those are my my favorite. The
aromatic is nice. It's just I found it to have like a sweetness that I don't seek. So
right.
The Bayou is definitely
and the best sales in the Stillwell line are in the sweet stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even in a cigar that isn't sweet tipped, just the sweetness in the casing and the pipe tobacco is enough for them to find it appealing. So yeah, I'm gonna lean into what people want and what they do, what they want to buy and what retailers want to carry, and can't ask them to carry 2 cigars that, even though I know they're really, really good, they're not selling.
Yeah. No, makes sense.
And at the same time, they're not cratered. I'm not like, we're still selling both of them, but we're about to run out actually. So, and my hope is that some point we're going to run out of everything. And then I think I'm hoping that we'll be out of all of it by the time we get to the trade show next year. I'm hoping. We'll see.
Now you had mentioned the Kanalam. That's for Harrisburg Beer and Wine. Kerr, you were just there not too long ago. What's that? What's that mean? Kanalam.
Kanalam is gonna make me look this up. Kanalam. I want to get this right. Give me a moment. I know I have a note on this somewhere. And I can tell you the basic story, but I can't tell it with the right dates. Kanalam. Let's see. It's probably under my 2023 projects, right? That would make sense. I'm never gonna find this. I better just talk so you guys watch me scroll on my screen. So Kanalam basically, so like tobacco took over the Far East and Western Europe, right? Once it migrated through, like a wildfire, right? Everybody was smoking, and in India they had one of the very first tobacco bans ever, where the Sultan of India decreed that if you smoked tobacco, you would be beheaded. One of the most ardent smokers in the country was his falconer, who then became his closest confidant, named Kanalam. And Kanalam just refused to give up smoking. So what the Sultan ended up doing is he ended up exiling him to become the dignitary ambassador, I think, in Persia is where he ended up kind of going, but he ended up keeping his head. So Kanalam was like really kind of like the first person to challenge a smoking ban in a public way that was noted and that it had some sort of consequences of, got to keep his head, but he still got exiled as a result of it. And, Harrisburg Beer and Cigars, you got Nick Injun there. I'm very proud of his Indian heritage. So I was trying to find something that would tie in with that and make sense and not seem too kitschy or cheeky or me putting little fucking dancing Indian color elephants on the box. So, something that, there's some history behind and is a really good callback to India in a way that I think is interesting and unique.
I love this. The story. The story alone makes me want to smoke the cigar even more. Now the box and the packaging was beautiful.
It's simple, simple box, simple packaging, but cleanly done. It's kind of what we specialize in is we don't really have that elaborate of packaging. Dobra Mesa by far is our most complex packaging. Well, unicorn cabinets, but they don't count.
Yeah. So when will that be hitting? And do you know how?
Again, should be hopefully the next 3 weeks.
Okay. So what about the Saka Khan statue that you've teased a couple of times? I know everybody's just so. I mean, God, eBay's gonna be full. eBay gonna be full of those.
I think we might start seeing those make appearances in September.
Okay.
Oh.
So same with the retailers will get them, buy a box of cigars, you'll be able to get a statue.
Probably, I don't know. Look, you're asking complex questions. I don't even know how we do what we do now. So you're like, you're asking me to decide how we're going to do something that I have no clue how we even do. Yeah.
So what about 2026? I know that this year seemed to be light for you, and unless I'm mistaken on special, unlike exclusive blends for retailers. It seems like you've had. Am I wrong on that? You've always had more in the past. 2025 seems to be a little.
So here's the thing. I don't want to keep doing these exclusives. I'd rather them just kind of come and go. It's more fun for me that way. It lets me spread the love to other accounts that deserve love, but they just don't die. Okay. And I guess that's a good thing that they don't die, but it also means that I can't beat the drum on 8 different things every year. because it's not fair to the people that waited 3 years to get theirs, like Con Along, right? So basically the way I tell everybody is, listen, you got to get out of this. You're going to sell it out in 24 and 48 hour mentality. You've already had that benefit 3-4 years in a row. Okay. You have to start thinking about this more as a cigar that you're just going to, you're going to have a launch date when it's available, when the new come in, but you're going to just keep it in your shop and make it a house cigar, because you can only beat that drum so much. And there's no value in it for me in any way whatsoever. So that came with them kind of having to agree that I'm not going to try to hit their deadlines, because it's impossible trying to make these things arrive when they have their launch thing around it. So it's kind of like, there's more Barbara Maria this year. There's more U-Boat. There's definitely more Don Derma. I mean, so a lot of this stuff is getting made, just not being as vocal about it, and the retailers are just going to have to look. If it turns out that without the fanfare, they can't sell it, then great. We'll just stop making it. It's not a problem, because then it opens up the ability to make something else for somebody else.
Yeah.
So what about I know every now and then you hear someone about frog juice at Jeff's shop. Will that be coming back?
Or? That's on the calendar for next year.
Okay. How's next year's schedule looking? A ton more stuff, or?
I'm not sure yet. Depends how I feel. There could be a ton more. There could be a ton more stuff, but maybe not.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's all the questions I have. I told you.
Hallelujah! Good God, where are we at?
9:31. Not too bad.
2 hours even. I told you. I said we try and keep it.
It felt a hell of a lot longer.
Yeah. Yeah, when you start talking about Lanceros, it's it can feel a whole lot longer for sure. You
know what? These black unicorns, these are really good. These are cheaper.
We got Cody here. I don't know if Steve
look at it because the cabinet was damaged. A little coffin. Yeah.
What do you think about Fuente's possible Cameroon scare? I don't know if Steve can comment
I'm not really
on
following that. Does this have to do with a Merifeld relationship, or is it two totally separate things? I don't know.
I don't know either. I know
I wonder if Coop covered it on KMA.
Yeah, he talked about something about they're Fuente's taking the international distributorship of his cigars in house. So I don't know if that would lead to a Cameroon scare. Like, would Merifeld get pissy about it and stop selling?
I find that just hard to believe.
Yeah, same here. That's the only thing I heard. Fuente just wants to bring it in house.
Look, we all have friends and acquaintances and people we've known for a very, very long time. But part of that also is the understanding that in the end, it is business and it isn't personal. It has to be that way because we're in too small an industry. You know what I mean? So we all know one another. So you're much more forgiving and lenient of the people that you know and that you're friends with and whatnot. But at the same time, that would be very self-destructive. So just as a general rule of thumb, I think everybody kind of just goes, yeah, this is business. This isn't about friendship. Friendship is within the business.
Yeah, it's not
some
personal.
People not separated here. Some people can't, but normally those people weren't worthy of your friendship anyways if they can't separate that. So I mean, it's just look, we all do things in life that don't work out. Period.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
like your relationship with Abe and him making voodoo dolls and you having to burn them.
Yeah.
Some stuff just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Abe likes to make some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Are you happy for Summer Saka to almost be over?
It's just a little weird. It was Summer of Dunbarton. I feel a little bit more okay with it.
Yeah.
Summer of Sock is a little too.
They love it. Everybody loves it.
It's a little much. Like I understand, it sounds better Summer of Saka than Summer.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I understand, but yeah, it's a.
Oh, Gary Brooks said there are voodoo dolls that survived.
I'm sure there are a few that survived. You know, I saw it, and it was Abe showed me one at the his office, and it was super creepy. So
yeah, very creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to see it in person to really understand how awful they are.
You really do have to see it in person.
Yeah.
It was bad. Like it's scary.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
In this case, those were burned.
Yeah, but look, Abe's a very proactive retailer.
Yeah.
And look, I obviously only pay attention to my own little crappy world, but I'm assuming he's doing a lot of other things too with a lot of other people, right? So, you know, and I've always said this: it'll be summer Saka until the shit don't sell, and then it'll become the summer of.
That's it. Now, one question.
That's where it'll be. I mean, it'll go away as gloriously as it rose.
Yeah. Now, someone asked for a larger, ring gauge candela. It's going to pop up. It's not going to happen. But I did have a question. Polpetta. Why can't we make that a bigger? I have smoked like 4 in a row.
No, I love that size.
I do like the cigars, but yeah.
I've already made a bigger Polpetta. Just haven't chosen when I'm going to sell it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what size it is?
Oh gosh. I want to say it was it 6 by 50? 5.5 by 50? Something like that.
It's just dangling in that right out in front of you, Kevin.
I have to look.
That's actually perfect because I can't smoke one Polpetta. I always smoke 2 in a row.
When we worked on the Polpetta project, we didn't just work on that size. We worked on a variety of sizes. So that Polpetta could be made into a variety of sizes. The dilemma that you have is Polpetta is driven off table trimmings.
Yeah.
So you want Polpetta to be just popular enough to do its job. There's not really any incentive to try to. There'll be incentive, and I'm not saying we won't, but depending on how sales on red meat lovers and meat readers and all those things go, determines how much table trimmings there are, which then determine how much can you make of these other things. So same reason, look, in the beginning, we would go 3-4 months, there'd be no umbagogs at all because we had no wrap. We didn't have enough wrapper that was ugly enough to use to make umbagog. And we were just stacking it for months and months. Oh, we have enough ugly wrapper. Okay, let's make umbagog. And now umbagogs are all the time because we're making so many of the other cigars that we're buying that much more material. Hence, we're getting that much more ugly material. Therefore, more umbagogs, they become consistent. So that's what it would take for Polpetta. So if the larger size of Polpetta gets released, it'll be because I'm getting enough table trimmings that now I need another home to try to dollar cost average against for those. But there's no incentive for me right now to make the larger Polpetta because we're not keeping up with Polpetta orders as is, so we're already behind on those.
Let's
okay.
One of my go-to
Yvonne says stop. So yes, our job is to make your job harder, Yvonne. So,
no.
Yes. So, all right. I think that's all we got for tonight. We'll keep it nice, short, and sweet.
Yes, we'll let you go.
Steve, I want you to hang out because I have a personal question for you after the show. All right, everybody. Hopefully this has been an enlightening evening. You'll see Kerr and I back this Monday night on the Puff and Ponder podcast, and maybe we'll get Jessica to join us one night.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. So, all right, everybody.
But Jessica, you are a ray of sunshine in this whole.
Yeah.
a rose amongst the thorns, Jessica.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you coming.
No, I can't. Well, as soon as Kevin said that you were going to do this, I was like, I'll come on. I was like, only for Steve, because normally I tell Kevin to go.
Yeah, she usually just spends most of her time yelling at Kerr and I, So, all right, we'll see everybody next time around.
We'll see you.